Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. Bitcoin moved up earlier today. No real significant change since the previous video. Let's, however, talk about what we can expect here now for Bitcoin next. As per the primary scenario, this is the primary expectation. Told you in the previous video that this is the chart I'm now going to use predominantly because Bitcoin moved above, even though it was only briefly, but it moved above the 20.2k level. That invalidated one of the previous scenarios, so I'm looking at this one now. It is a scenario we talked about before, that this is the one I would mainly use should we go higher than 20.2k. So if we are in the region, if we stay in the price region between 20.2k and 22.1, yeah, in that range here, I am still of the view that this is just a corrective wave pattern and that we would eventually come down and see lower lows. Yeah. A lot of people already getting bullish, but to be honest, we're really only back to the price level that we already saw on the 28th of August. So there is not really any major development happening, even though we moved out finally of this annoying range to the upside. Yeah. So here I'm talking about this annoying range, this sideways movement. I told you there will be an impulsive move coming, which also happened. You never know in which direction it is coming because, this move, even though it is short-term upside, at the moment at least, there is no signal that it would invalidate the overall downtrend. Yeah, not until we break above 22.1k impulsively. So how can we look at these internals here? So first of all, this 5-wave move in a wave 5 started at 25,200 roughly. We moved down in a wave 1, ABC. We're now moving up in a wave 2, ABC. Well, no, that's done already, yeah. Expanded flat. And now we're in the third wave, also wave A done. This here is probably the wave B. Again, it could stretch to 22.1k. It could go higher, yeah, but then again, it gets unreliable. And then the wave C should follow down, ideally into the region 17k, yeah, 17.5, and then there should be a wave 4 up and a wave 5 down to finish off ideally the larger degree wave 5, the bear market. Okay, so if we now look at the internals here, this is where we are currently in the wave, basically in the wave C of the wave B. We've obviously hit resistance here. You can see how relevant that $20,200 level was that I highlighted to you in previous videos. This can still stretch higher. Yeah, we talked in previous videos about if this triangle breaks out, yeah, because this, even if you don't count it as an Elliott Wave triangle, it is still a triangle, and the measured height of that would take us in a breakout scenario to around 20.7k. So we could assume that we go higher here still into the green area further, and the way this is to count is, yeah, well, as a wave A, in the wave B in yellow, yeah, the wave A done, then the wave B unfolding as triangle, and now that we're in an impulsive wave up in a wave C, which should get close to its end. But again, 20.7k would be at least a triangle target. If I don't use the triangle though, and we just measure what you would normally expect, basically taking here the length of the wave A, projecting it out to get a target, you can see that the 1.618 extension actually takes us to around 20.9k. So it shouldn't go higher than that, ideally, yeah, not as per the sub-wave counts. So assuming the sub-waves are counted correctly here, we should ideally not get above 20.9k. If we do this, we might be leaning more, even though this is technically all still possible as the yellow wave B retracement. But if you look at the internals, you should ideally not go above 20.9k. So that's a key level here. If we do that, it would not strictly invalidate this particular scenario, but then what we might want to look at in more detail is to understand the entire move that started on the 18th of June, yeah, at the low, as a larger triangle formation. And we talked about that in the previous video as well. I did highlight it here in gray actually, just to show you this is the other chart, which is also possible, and we talk about that. But As triangle, we could count this as a wave A, here the wave B, the wave C still to come, or unfolding now, the wave D down, and the wave E up. Now, in this wave C, we could get it to around 24, maybe even 25K, all right? So what does that mean? That means if we go above, let's say that 20.9K level, we could start to put a little bit more emphasis on this triangle scenario. And above 22.1K, this will get much more clear. And however, above 22.1K, we also have the possibility for some much more bullish scenarios and a possible breakout scenario. So you can see the different possibilities here on the Bitcoin chart. It doesn't really make Bitcoin at the moment an attractive, let's say, asset for trading from my point of view. What I'm doing at the moment for Bitcoin, until we have 1 or 2 clear setups, because there are different scenarios possible still, but as long as we don't have those 1 or 2 high probability setups, where we have one, for example, with Ethereum, Aave, and so on, we don't have that with Bitcoin. Until we see that, all I'm doing with Bitcoin is maybe just accumulating a little bit here and there in dollar cost averaging. Yeah. Yes, just to let you know. And the other possibility here that we still have on the chart is, so we talked about this one, yeah, primary expectation. We talked about the triangle, and the other one is to see this as a diagonal, just a slightly different count. I talked about that in the previous video as well. This as a wave 1, this as a wave 2, this as a wave 3, that we are now in a wave 4, and we would come down in a 5. So the internal wave count, however, here of what is currently unfolding is basically in line with what we talked about here. So I don't need to discuss that again. The 20.9K level still remains a key level here. Yeah, and that is what happening. It's happening with Bitcoin. Just to talk about, because I always get the comments about, well, isn't that currently a good price? Yeah, I mean, this is a good price generally for Bitcoin if you have a long-term perspective. That's my view. Nothing wrong with dollar cost averaging in here if you have that strategy, but I'm also talking about swing trade setups, high probability trade setups, which we currently don't see. But for DCA, I mean, it always depends on your time frame, isn't it? And of course 19K was an interesting level. Of course 18.5K was an interesting level, and you always need to ask yourself, that's why I don't tell you what to do, but you always need to ask yourself, do you have a position in Bitcoin? And a lot of people still don't have a position in Bitcoin. Now, if you at these prices don't have a position in Bitcoin, I personally don't understand that. Yeah. So, I mean, in my opinion, everybody should at least have a position in Bitcoin. How large that position is, you need to decide, but it should be a long-term position. Now, if you don't have that, you might have your reasons for that, and that's fine. But I always get the comments that because of, you know, I didn't talk about this could be the bottom already or whatever, but even though I did, I talked about this could be a truncated low. Bitcoin could go bullish from here, even though I don't find it very likely. But of course, these are interesting levels for DCA. Yeah. So by all means, you know, just because I'm saying there is not a high probability trade setup and different scenarios are possible, we are in a long-term accumulation range for Bitcoin. Yeah. I think some people might forget that, but we are, you know, and if you have a long-term perspective, why not have 2 portfolios, a DCA portfolio and a swing trade portfolio? Some people might not want to do any swing trading and just want to accumulate, which is fine as well. So that's my update about Bitcoin. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.